Hi everyone, today we are talking about the murder of JonBenét Ramsey is one of the most famous and controversial unsolved cases in American history. JonBenét was a 6-year-old beauty queen who was found dead in her family's home in Boulder, Colorado, on December 26, 1996. JonBenét Ramsey was born on August 6, 1990, in Atlanta, Georgia, the younger of two children of Patricia, Patsy Ramsey, and JonBenét Ramsey. She had an older brother named Burke. JonBenét's first name combines her father's first and middle names, and her mother's first name was used as her middle name. She was enrolled in kindergarten at High Peaks Elementary School in Boulder, Colorado. She was an American child beauty queen who gained national attention when she was tragically murdered in her home in Boulder, Colorado, on December 25, 1996, at the age of 6. The case remains unsolved, and it has been the subject of numerous investigations and media coverage over the years. Her death and the circumstances surrounding it have been the subject of intense public interest and speculation. Please note that JonBenét Ramsey's case is a sensitive topic, so it's essential to approach it with respect and empathy. In the early morning of December 26, 1996, John and Patsy Ramsey awoke to find their 6-year-old daughter JonBenét Ramsey missing from her bed at their home in Boulder, Colorado. Patsy and John had woken up early to prepare for a trip, when Patsy discovered a ransom note on the stairs demanding $118,000 for their daughter's safe return. Despite the note's warning not to involve police, Patsy immediately called them, as well as friends and family, in order to aid in the search for JonBenét Ramsey. Police arrived at 5:55 a.m. and found no signs of forced entry, but did not search the basement, where her body would eventually be found. During the initial police response, friends and family were allowed to enter the home, potentially contaminating the crime scene. Later that day, John Ramsey discovered JonBenét's lifeless body in the basement, with duct tape over her mouth and a cord around her neck, lying on the floor with her wrists bound. It was determined that she had been strangled and suffered a severe skull fracture. There are two popular theories in the Ramsey case: the family theory and the intruder theory. The initial investigation focused heavily on the Ramsey family for many reasons. The police felt that the ransom note was staged as it was unusually long, written using a pen and paper from the Ramseys' house, and demanded almost the exact amount of money that John had received as a bonus earlier that year. Additionally, the Ramseys were reluctant to cooperate with police, though they later said this was because they feared the police would not conduct a full investigation and target at them as easy suspects. However, all three members of the immediate family were questioned by investigators and submitting handwriting samples to compare to the ransom letter. Both John and Burke were cleared of any suspicion of writing the note. Although much was made that Patsy could not be conclusively cleared by her handwriting sample, this analysis was not further supported by any other evidence. Despite a larger pool of suspects, the media immediately focused on JonBenét's parents, and they spent years under the harsh limelight of the public eye. In 1999, a Colorado grand jury voted to indict the Ramseys on child endangerment and obstruction of a murder investigation. However, the prosecutor felt that the evidence did not meet the beyond a reasonable doubt standard and declined to prosecute. JonBenét's parents were never officially named as suspects in the murder. Alternatively, the intruder theory had lots of physical evidence to support it. There was a boot print found next to JonBenét's body which did not belong to anyone in the family. There was also a broken window in the basement which was believed to be the most likely point of entry for an intruder. Additionally, there was DNA from drops of blood from an unknown male found on her underwear. The floors in the Ramseys' home were heavily carpeted, making it plausible for an intruder to have carried JonBenét downstairs without waking the family. One of the most famous suspects was John Carr. He was arrested in 2006 when he confessed to killing JonBenét by accident, after he had drugged and sexually assaulted her. Carr was eventually dismissed as a suspect after it was revealed that no drugs had been found in JonBenét's system. Police could not confirm he was in Boulder at the time, and his DNA did not match the profile generated from the samples found. Much of the recent investigation in the case revolves around the DNA profiles developed from the sample found in her underwear and the touch DNA later developed from her long johns. The profile from her underwear was entered into CODIS, the National DNA Database, in 2003, but no matches have been identified. In 2006, Boulder District Attorney Mary Lacey took over the case. She agreed with the federal prosecutor that the intruder theory was more plausible than the Ramseys killing their daughter. Under Lacey's lead, investigators developed a DNA profile from touch DNA left behind by skin cells, on her long johns. In 2008, Lacey released a statement detailing the DNA evidence and fully exonerating the Ramsey family, saying in part,
"The Boulder District Attorney's Office does not consider any member of the Ramsey family, including John, Patsy, or Burke Ramsey, as suspects in this case. We make this announcement now because we have recently obtained this new scientific evidence that adds significantly to the exculpatory value of the previous scientific evidence. We do so with full appreciation for the other evidence in this case. Local, national, and even international publicity has focused on the murder of JonBenét Ramsey. Many members of the public came to believe that one or more of the Ramseys, including her mother or her father or even her brother, were responsible for this brutal homicide. Those suspicions were not based on evidence that had been tested in court, rather, they were based on evidence reported by the media."
In 2010, the case was officially reopened with renewed focus on the DNA samples. Further testing has been conducted on the samples, and experts now believe that the sample is actually from two individuals rather than one. In 2016, it was announced that the DNA would be sent to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation to be tested using more modern methods, and authorities hope to develop an even stronger DNA profile of the killer. In 2016, CBS aired the case of JonBenét Ramsey, which implied her then 9-year-old brother Burke was the killer, despite the fact he was cleared by the DNA evidence that proved the existence of an intruder. Burke filed a $750 million lawsuit against CBS for defamation. The case was settled in 2019, and while the terms of the settlement were not disclosed, his lawyer stated the case was amicably resolved to the satisfaction of all parties. The JonBenét Ramsey case is still open and remains unsolved.